We do have some questions that we received throughout the week from a lot of other people. So we'll go through that. And the Hero, which actually is currently in New Zealand, in Te Puke, I think, has the question for us.
So Hero asks, what would be a good 2 to 3 days itinerary for each region in New Zealand? Thank you, guys.
Wow. So what we're going to do for this one is going to be quite fun. We're going to take the map of New Zealand and we're going to put out all the regions, and we'll tell you 2 or 3 things that we'll do in each region. And that's going to be kind of our favorite thing. So it's a little bit kind of personal choices, but that will help you plan your itinerary and see where you will be going. So let's get the map out.
Do you have a rubber for this?
Of course. Here you go. Boom. Cool. So we're going to go from north to south just because it's going to be a little bit easier. And we're going to get started with Northland. So Northland region is the region which is above Auckland. So Auckland is right in the middle right here. So Laura is going to mark Auckland first.
Oh, Auckland?
Yeah, mark Auckland. So
the region or just the city?
Yeah, just make... But around Auckland. There you go, that's Auckland. So anything above that is all north, right? So in Northland you have Bahia, and you also... So we're talking about North... You alternate. We're going to do blue first and then red and the blue. So it's going to be easier. Okay. Up here. This is the region we're talking about. Up here you go. All that. Perfect. Awesome. So this is the region of Northland right here. So we have Whanganui and we have here. And around here, there is a couple of things that I will do. First up, on the drive up, I'll stop in Whanganui and I'll check out the Whanganui Falls. I think it's a fantastic place to check out. But then I think I will spend most of my time in Bahia, which is the gateway to the Bay of Islands. One of the things you can be doing is to go all the way up to Cape Reinga, which is the top of the North Island. And this is where you will be able to see both the Tasman Sea and the Pacific Ocean meet. And you get like dark blue and then turquoise blue water meet. And it's absolutely fantastic to see at sea. And then you get back to Bahia and then there's a few activities to do. What would you pick?
For Bahia, there's a lot of boat cruises, for instance, sort of like dolphin. Oh no, they don't do dolphin swimming anymore.
No, but you can check out the dolphin. You can do dolphin encounter cruises.
Dolphin watching. So yeah, there's boat cruises to some interesting sort of formations, like this hole in the rock, which is like a big archway in an island. You can go in a boat cruise and go right underneath that. There's parasailing. There is normal sailing, like sailing in a sailing yacht.
Sailing. If you do another kind of sailing, you're definitely not normal.
Yeah. There's scuba diving as well, which is actually pretty fun around there. And there's even sort of like multi-day boat tours, which takes you around the islands and you actually stay on the boat as well. So yeah, it's definitely a place to visit if you want to be out on the water, and it generally has sort of the nicest weather up there, or the warmest weather, so it kind of feels like a little holiday up there.
Nice. All right, so that's the few things that we'll be doing in the Bay of Islands. Then we're going to be talking about the Auckland region, which is this one right here, big in red. So what are the first couple of things you will do in Auckland?
So if you're staying in Auckland Central, you can take ferries from the downtown ferry terminal, which can take you to some pretty awesome islands. Some of the islands include Rangitoto Island, which is a real volcanic island that has like a big crater in the middle. There's lava caves to go into. Really good walks on there. There's also Tiri Matangi, which is an island for sort of native birds. It's like a bird sanctuary. And then around Auckland, there's lots of regional parks around Auckland. So there's places like the Waitakere Ranges on the western coast, which has lots of really cool walks into forests and seeing waterfalls. There's also in the south, there's the Hunua Ranges, which also has forests and waterfalls to check out as well. But yeah, I think that's probably just a quick thing to do in Auckland.
All right, so then the next thing we're going to be talking about is both the Coromandel and the Bay of Plenty. It's going to be a bit easier that way. And so that's going to be the Coromandel area as well as Tauranga. So we're not following exactly the correct regions of New Zealand, just because we find it a bit easier to group them that way for travelers, right? So if you are a New Zealander right now and you are watching us and you say, this is not what the region is, we get it. It's just a bit easier when you plan a trip to kind of make the region as it fits. Because, for example, there's a big region called Waikato that goes everywhere here, and it doesn't make any sense. So in Coromandel area, Laura, what would you do?
So in Coromandel, there's lots of amazing beaches to check out there as well. Some of the famous beaches are Hot Water Beach, where you can dig yourself a hot water pool in the sand, which is really cool. You can go to Cathedral Cove, which is a really famous area in the Coromandel with sort of archways and white cliffs on the beach. You can walk there or do kayaking tours or even motorboat tours there. Also in the Coromandel, there are a few walks going into kauri forests, and kauri are the largest types of trees in New Zealand, and they're really impressive to see. I think that's about 3 things to do there.
Nice. And then if you are in Tauranga, there is some awesome dolphin swimming to do there. It's very different. You are holding onto a boat and you drag behind it, so you swim alongside the dolphin. It's really phenomenal. And you can climb up Mount Whanganui, which basically gives you a really nice view of the whole area. So, and it's like a 30 minutes, we'll say. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. All right, cool. Now we're going to change color again, and we're going to go with this region right here, which is going to be up going here, and just before, so Rotorua will be here. So just before that, so we're having Waitomo, and we're having Hobbiton right here. Sorry, Hamilton here and Hobbiton about here. All right, so 3 things to do. I already made the dot.
So you can go in this sort of top area of the Waikato region. You can go to Waitomo, which is famous for its glowworms and glowworm caves. The glowworms themselves are really impressive to see, and there's various different activities in order to do that. You can take sort of boat tours, walking tours, and even caving tours if you're looking for something a little more adventurous. In Hamilton, that's sort of, I think it's the 2nd largest city in New Zealand. Is it second? No, that's Christchurch.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's 3rd, yeah.
3rd largest city, a larger city than most in New Zealand. And in Hamilton, the sort of surrounding area has lots of activities to do. There's things like jet boating near Cambridge, which is just a little further down there. There's the Hamilton Gardens, which is pretty much in Hamilton. That's pretty cool to see. Lots of different themed gardens, and it doesn't take you too long to check those out. There's New Zealand's only tea plantation, Geelong, in Hamilton. So if you want to try and taste some fancy tea, you can go there as well. And then in Hobbiton, most people...
In Matamata, I think.
In Matamata. We just call it Hobbiton now. But
the town is Matamata, and the attraction is Hobbiton.
Yeah, so in Matamata, you can go to Hobbiton, which is a movie set for The Lord of the Rings. And if you're into The Lord of the Rings, it's probably one of the main places that people like to go. But around Matamata, there is also, in Matamata, there's escape rooms.
Oh, yeah, there's a really cool, it's a really cool escape rooms in the Matamata, so yeah.
Yeah, there's also a few nearby waterfalls and stuff between Matamata and Tauranga. Depends what route you take around, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, and then we're moving on to Rotorua area. What will we do in the Rotorua area, Laura?
So in Rotorua, you can... Rotorua is mainly known for 2 things. One of them is the geothermal activity there. You can go see lots of different types of geothermal parks. Even in the city centre, they have a free geothermal park where you can check out some bubbling mud and steaming lakes and all that sort of cool stuff. Also, what Rotorua is famous for is its Maori attractions. So there's lots of sort of Maori tours there. You can go and see some cultural performances, try traditional Maori food known as hangi, where they cook food in an underground oven for a very long time. You don't have to sit there while they're cooking it. It's usually prepared when you arrive, just to make that clear. So that's pretty much Rotorua in a nutshell. Lots of mountain biking and stuff like that as well, but yeah.
That's why we're going to do the escape of the North Island. This whole area right here, look, it's a beautiful leaf. Laura, what would you do around this area?
Okay, so this is a really good area for road tripping, and it kind of looks like a surfboard actually, which reminds me that you can do some surfing. In the Gisborne area, Gisborne is the main city of the East Coast, well, the East Cape or Eastland. It has many different regional names, which has been very confusing for us over the years, but but Gisborne, you can do surfing there. It's also got a good wine region there, so you can visit wineries and taste their wine and look at nice vineyards and stuff like that. There's also waterfalls in a place called the Rere. So there's the Rere rock slide, there's the Rere Falls, and there's an arboretum. Is that how you say it? Arboretum. So you can go check out loads of different types of trees, which also has lots of New Zealand birds in it as well, which is pretty cool.
But the first thing I would be doing over there, to be quite honest, would be to watch the sunrise. I think it's pretty awesome to just watch the first sunrise in the world. I think it's really cool. All right, moving on, we have in the area here of Lake Taupo. So there is the town of Taupo, there is a big lake, and there is also a really famous volcano around here. Laura, do you want to tell us what you would do around here?
Okay, so if you're staying in Taupo, there's actually loads of activities you can do around there. Lots of adventure activities, so you can do skydiving, bungee jumping, jet boats, whitewater rafting tours. Well, they sort of pick up people from there, but take you to a different area nearby to do whitewater rafting. So that's just a few things you can do in Taupo. There's also boat tours and kayaking tours on the lake itself if you actually want to get on the lake. But also, whether you're based in Taupo or one of the small towns nearby, there's shuttles to take you to do the Tongariro crossing, which is probably the most popular day walk in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's quite a long walk, but it takes you across some amazing volcanic landscapes. It's a really popular thing to do, but it's only really available to do starting from October, ending about March, April time. Just because in winter it's covered in snow and not necessarily safe to go and do by yourself. So
all right, then we're going to drive. If you end up driving that way, you have the beautiful Forgotten World Highway, which is really awesome, but you can definitely arrive from that area, and you have the Taranaki region, which is absolutely fantastic. Laura, a couple of maybe 2-3 things to do around the Taranaki region. What would you do?
I think the main thing to do in Taranaki is to go to the Egmont National Park, which is in the center of that national park. It has a perfectly cone-shaped volcano, which is really cool to see. But
especially if you get to see it from space. It's phenomenal to see from space.
Yeah, but if you can't make it to space, you can go onto all the little short walks they have around the area. They also have multi-day walks as well, which is pretty cool. So just going to see the amazing forest and the views of the mountain in the Egmont National Park is definitely a must-do in that area. Otherwise, you can go to the coast to a town called New Plymouth, which is a really funky town in itself. It's very artsy if you want to see a few art galleries and stuff like that. But you can also do surfing there. They have some good surf beaches in the area, lots of surfboard hire sort of companies there if you want to try it yourself. And what else to do in Taranaki?
Goblin Forest, surfing. No, you say it. Okay, we're moving on to Whanganui or Whanganui, depending on who you ask. This whole region right here has this national park. It has a great walk, which is not a walk. I'm still upset they call it a great walk because it's not a walk.
It's a great paddle on a canoe.
But it's phenomenal, right? But it's not a walk. Yeah. So this area right here, Laura, what would you do there?
Okay, so in Whanganui, there is like a main town there, which has quite a few really awesome beaches to check out. And it's really good it has a few good walks and hikes. But in the Whanganui National Park, you can either, like Robin said, go on this multi-day canoe trip, which is really cool. But if you don't have a few days to spare there, then there's also jet boating tours you can do, which are a really good option. They take you down the Whanganui River, which is really cool, and take you to see sort of highlights of that national park. For instance, the Bridge to Nowhere, which is a bridge which was built, then abandoned, and this whole amazing sort of forest has grown around it.
The video that we have about it is quite funny because we just kind of understand how much effort it was into building that bridge and then abandoned so quickly. It's quite hilarious.
So we definitely recommend doing the jet boat tours in that area as well to just see more of the Whanganui River.
But if you don't do the jet boat, you still see the Bridge to Nowhere by doing the kayaking one. Don't you?
You have to do a really long multi-day hike to get there otherwise.
Okay, I'm wrong. Sorry. All right, moving on to some wine. Okay, this whole region right here It's way bigger than. Okay, I'll make it way too big, but this is this is Hawke's Bay-ish.
Yeah.
And in this area, there is a couple of towns, and there is a lot of wine to be tasted, but there is other things to do.
Okay, so in Hawke's Bay, the main towns there are Napier and Hastings. Like Robin says, it's a major wine region, so there's a lot of wine tours you can go on. One option is they're like shuttle tours, which take you to various different wineries to taste wines, and you don't have to drive, so it's sort of just sorted out there. But otherwise, there's a lot of bike tours, so they can take you around. Well, not they can take you around, they can give you some bikes, and you just bike from winery to winery, which is also a pretty cool way to see the area. There's a place called, is it called Te Mata Peak? Yep. So Te Mata Peak is a really famous spot to go and walk or even drive up to and take some photos from an amazing viewpoint. You used to be able to go see some gannets at Cape Kidnappers. At this time, I think the walk is still closed, but there's a tractor tour to take you to some other gannets, not quite at Cape Kidnappers, but nearby. But the walk might open soon. We don't know.
All right. And there's also a great few places to surf, by the way, around the area as well here. We're moving on to Wellington. So the Wellington region over there, obviously there is Wellington City, which is right here, which is going to be your gateway to the South Island. But there is also a lot of other things to see around, including one of the most breathtaking staircase to climb, because it actually takes your breath out.
Yeah. So sort of toward the, it's more at the bottom of the North Island here. You can go to Cape Palliser, is it?
Yeah.
Cape Palliser, where you can climb up. I think it felt like hundreds of steps to this lighthouse where it has some awesome views of the coast. And nearby is a seal colony as well, which is pretty cool to check out those seals. And nearby there is the Putangirua Pinnacles, which was a filming location in the Lord of the Rings, and just really cool sort of rock formations there as well to check out. So that's sort of on this side. But in Wellington itself, in the city, you can check out the Te Papa Museum. It's the probably most famous museum in the whole of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Lots of things to see there. Also, you could go to Zealandia, where there's shuttles, doing free shuttles from the centre of Wellington, taking you to a wildlife sanctuary to see some awesome New Zealand birds.
Yeah, so definitely that's probably one of the best and the best museum in the country, and it's free, so that's always a good thing. And so from Wellington, you take the ferry to go down to the South Island. But we're not going to do the South Island just right now. We'll do another video for the South Island, because that's already a lot of information to take in.
We've been talking a long time now.
Yeah, so yes, it's a lot of information to take in, but don't worry, we'll do the South Island as well. So again, we're going to recap quickly the region just to make it very clear. That's Northland. This is Auckland right here. This will be Coromandel as well as Tauranga. This will be like Waitomo, Hamilton, and Matamata, where Hobbiton is. This will be the East Cape. This will be Rotorua. This was Taupo. This is Taranaki. This is Whanganui. This is Hawke's Bay. And this will be
Whanganui. Sorry, Whanganui and Whanganui.
Yeah.
You said Whangarei.
Oh, sorry. Whanganui. My bad. All right. If you did find this video useful, like and subscribe. It's always a great free way to say thank you for all our hard work. And check out nzpocketguide.com, where we go over all of those regions in crazy depth. There is literally a guide for each of the... There's more than one guide for each of the regions. So here you go.